manifest underscore session. If you have not as yet, go ahead and click on the subscription button so you can also get my videos each time I come through and post or do a live, right? So my channel is about spirituality and self-development. I'm also getting to level up yourself, right? It's about you becoming more of aware of yourself and who you are and what you want in life, okay? So we speak a lot about manifesting and creating your own reality here, because that's what we're actually doing here. Each individual is making their own life experience, creating their own life experience by making those choices. In other words, manifesting through choice. You understand? Through choice and focus, right? So today's topic is basically very, very close to manifesting. It's about the word, the power of the word, right? The spoken word. Remember that we are manifesting, creating our realities with our words, our belief systems as well, our world views, right? Our perceptions, right? So today's topic is going to be based on the book written by Florence Scovel Shinn in 1941. She wrote a book called The Game of Life, okay, and how to play it, okay. Basically, she was speaking about the life being a game, not a struggle. People think that life is a struggle. Life is not a struggle. We never came here to struggle. We came here to create. We came here to actually have a good time, right? So the concept is that we came through as human beings in the physical, spirits in the physical, okay, spirits in the physical, being human beings to create and experience life, right? But this life is supposed to level us up, okay? So we're learning as we're growing, as we're developing, we're actually learning. It's a learning experience. So Florence Scovel Shinn, right, was actually a metaphysical teacher. She talks about spirituality, in other words, all things spiritual. She talks about them in the 20th century. The book is based on, as I said, leveling up and knowing the game of life, but using spiritual principles for you to be able to actually play the game of life well, because there are laws and rules in the game, like any other game, right? So she says that the Word of God, the Bible at the time, because you must remember that she's born and bred in a very religious period of life, okay? So we basically, being a Christian, she kind of figured out the way we should be living life by using Christian principles. And this is not a religious channel, and I'm not a religious person. I'm more spiritual, right? But I can understand what Florence Scovel Shinn was actually out to do. She's trying to teach people to use the basic things that are there, like the Bible. What does the Bible teach you? How to be respectful, how to show up, how to be careful, how you treat other people. All the basic laws, you can say, right? Also connected with, for example, the law of oneness. You must understand that when what you do to the other, you do to yourself. What you do to the self, you do to the other as well, because we are collectively connected. So that's where the law of oneness comes into play, right? So how you play the game of life, you must understand that what you do affects everybody else around you. Okay, that's one of Florence Scovel Shinn's perceptions and concepts, okay, in her book. So she wrote a sequel called Your Word is Your Wand, which is actually a sequel to The Game of Life and How to Play It. So yeah, she speaks and she zones in onto the affirmations you can use on your day-to-day basis to actually manifest a better experience in your life, right? So basically, I'll give you a rundown what the book is all about, basically, okay? Your spoken word is the wand. So you are constantly wielding spells with your words. What you say to yourself and you say to others, you're actually wielding some spells out there, right? You're creating certain things because your words are coming from your frequency. Your words are directly linked to who you are. Okay, like for example, somebody who's kind and loving will not have hateful words to say because they're coming, their source, their foundation, their fountain is kindness and love, okay? Basically, that's what she was trying to say, right? So be careful of your words. The words that you're using on a constant basis will give you a picture of the condition of your heart and your consciousness. So this is what she was actually trying to say as well. So your word is your wand. It creates, it's a directive power that creates, right? That's what it does. It's a directive power that creates. So what you're saying about other people You actually creating it into your own reality, and people don't understand that. When you say bad things or good things to other people, you're actually blessing them, right? But you're also blessing yourself, not only them, because it's a frequency. It's like a ricochet experience. You understand? It's like a ricochet experience because of the law of oneness. Makes it a ricochet experience when you say certain things to certain people. You say it to yourself, and you bless other people, you're blessing yourself. And you're cursing other people, you are cursing yourself, basically, right? So the core principles of the book is all about the power of the word, faith and feeling manifestation, faith and feeling manifestations, law of substitution. Okay, I use the word of the law of substitution quite often, right? But anyway, I'm gonna now break down these three concepts that I mentioned now, right? I said the spoken word, right? Firstly, the power of the spoken word. She says that words are vibrational, okay? They go forth and create accordingly to their frequency, right? Your frequency, the word of encouragement creates an energy of encouragement. Okay, that's the frequency. The word of cursing somebody else and putting them down. Hi, thank you. Hi, you said hi, auntie. I'm Sicilian. Anyway, thank you for joining my live. I think you Slayer 69. Thank you for joining my live. I don't know what your true and your real name is, but anyway, thank you for joining my live. Today we're speaking about the word. We're talking about the book that Florence Shin wrote, a sequel to that book that's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Okay, so when you want to better yourself, it's about you getting the information. Now, books like what Florence Scovel Shinn is written, right back in the 1940s, right? She knew the principles of life were actually created by our words, right? So she used to help a lot of people because she was not only an author, she was also a spiritual teacher, and she used to actually counsel people and help them with their issues and their problems by simply using basic concepts like speaking the word into people's lives with positivity. You understand? Because all in your mind, because you create your reality in your mind, right? So it's about she knew that. So she's taught teach people that as well in the 1940s, and she wrote books about it. Okay, so I said that the power of the words. I'm breaking down the book now, right? It's a small book. It's about I think about 10 chapters or something like that, right? So the first part she says the power of the word, the spoken word, right? It's a vibrational force, as I said, and it creates something because there's a frequency, right? What you constantly declare on a day-to-day basis to yourself and to others becomes your reality, right? And if it's a chaotic things that you actually declaring, you're creating chaos in your own life experience, your own frequency, not only for the other people, because those people need to be a match to your words of chaos. You understand? It's all about the enmeshment. Like, for example, if somebody says something to you and you're not aligned to it, you don't believe in it, number one. That's what alignment means. You don't believe in it. You don't, it's not in your worldview about even about yourself. If somebody says something about you that goes against your worldview, right? You will never believe it. So that means you won't be aligned to that frequency, even if it's a curse, because it's away from your radio dial. You understand? So frequencies, if you look at it's like radio frequencies, okay? So if somebody is always joyful and happy and very positive, right? Their words are always positive and joyful. Their frequency is higher than somebody who's always complaining, always feeling down, always putting people down, putting themselves down. You understand? Always looking for trouble. We call them toxic people. If your frequency is very far from them, you can never be affected by them. And if you do get affected by them, you should ask yourself, why am I getting affected by somebody else's thoughts? Because you have a choice to own those thoughts or not, right? You have the choice to own that choice or not. Thank you for joining. As a Katleko. Kat, how are you? I'll just call you Kat. Thank you for joining my live. Today we're talking about the power of the word, right? And it even says in the Bible, in the Christian Bible, by the word you shall be justified. By your word, you shall be justified. By your word, you shall be condemned. Again, speaking about your frequency, the words that you're speaking, are they bringing forth empowerment, or they uplifting people or breaking people down? So when people criticize me, for example, I don't bother myself because I understand that certain people have very small minds. You understand their frequencies are restricted. And if I'm not aligned to it, I'm not aligned to it. So it's a matter of just ignoring and moving on, because you don't want to be affected by other people's opinions about you when they don't even know you. You see my point? You want to live and live life feeling high frequency about yourself, feeling good about yourself, right? This is what Florence was trying to teach people in 1940s. That it's about you personally, not about the world. It's about you, because you're creating your own reality, creating your own world, right? Creating your own world. So with your words and your perceptions, what you say about others doesn't matter. It's what you say about you. What you're saying about other people, criticizing other people, you're actually criticizing yourself. It's your own personal insecurities that you're now projecting on other people. You understand? When people do that, it is a sign of low frequency, because words are very, very powerful. Okay? If the pool is filthy, it'll only bring out dirt. When a pool is clean, it'll bring out goodness, health, wellness. You understand? I mean, even see it in the Christian Bible. Okay, back to the book. Right now, the book is all about the spoken word, the faith and feeling, right? The spoken word must be filled with emotion, right? Emotion and faith, right? Emotion and faith, very important. Doubt or emotional resistance can cause a problem in your manifestation, what you want to create. Okay. Doubt and emotional resistance causes a problem when it comes to you trying to manifest your reality with your words, because you're really doing it every single day. So if you want something and you're doubting that thing, it's hard for you to get it because you don't believe you can even get it. You're pushing it away because of doubt. Doubt is a terrible thing when it comes to manifesting and living your best life, because you're doubting yourself. You're pushing it away. You're pushing negative energy against that thing that you want. So don't doubt yourself, right? Always be sure of yourself. Always try and be as sure as possible, and that takes work, inner work, right? That takes work. So I spoke about faith and manifestation without being a problem. Okay, affirmations work when you repeat them, because you're reconditioning yourself, right? The trick about affirmations is the repetition. The repetition, because reseeding your subconscious mind. You feed your subconscious mind with another frequency. The frequency, you're pushing it through words because it has a feeling, it has a vibration. You understand? So that's very important. Then the law of substitution. I like using this one. The law of substitution is when you override the negative with a positive. You override or transmute the negative with a positive. You understand? When you see something so-called bad happening, you say, it's not what it is. It's not what it seems to be. I'm sure there's something positive that's going to come out of the situation. I keep myself in high frequency, and I'm hopeful that things will work out for me. You understand? You don't mesh yourself to the situation. You transmute it. It's called the law of substitution. Very interesting concept. You can override negative beliefs, replacing them with positive affirmations and words of affirmation, right? You don't fight fear with fear. You fight fear with the truth of the matter, your own personal truth. When you walk into a space and you feel nervous and afraid to speak, right? Then you fight that feeling with you being truthful. You have the power, you have the authority over yourself. You have power, you have authority over yourself. You understand? And you say that I'm confident in myself, I believe in myself. Now you are transmuting those negative vibes you're getting with that positive. It's all about you changing it. It's called the law of substitution. Very powerful concept to use when it comes to public speaking, or even anything in life, anything, even your work. If you're given something and it's a difficult task and you know it's difficult and maybe it's challenging and you've never done it before, right? Take a deep breath and tell yourself that I can do this. All is possible. This This came to me because I can do it. Maybe it's going to take me a bit longer to learn, but I can do it. Give yourself that confidence, you understand? That's related to the law of substitution. Then divine order. Life is meant to be in harmony with you, with people, peaceful experience, with success. So life's supposed to be unfolding in harmony with success and in peace. Okay, we provide our own sense of stress by us not believing in ourselves and also complaining, looking at the problems too much and focusing on the problem instead of looking at the solutions. So now you're taking yourself away from the harmony and the success of life. You're supposed to be thinking like a divine being because you're connected to divine mind. Unfortunately or fortunately, we're given a freedom of choice, right? So God has given us the freedom of choice. Divine source has given us freedom of choice. So that choice, we can either go with being positive or go with being negative. Okay, if we want to operate away from the divine mind is full of love and order and peace and harmony. But because we have the choice, right, each day to get up every morning and decide how we're gonna be, right? We're not forced to live in divine mind. We are given a choice. So we choose sometimes to live outside of divine mind, outside of the harmony and success that which is who we are and what we are. Every human being is a fractal of the divine mind. Every human being is a piece of divine mind, God, divine source. You understand? So you get up every morning and you're looking at your situation because you're still thinking of yesterday. Okay, because the human brain is programmed to memorize the last. When you get up in the morning, the last thought that you had, the last frequency, you normally automatically go into it unless you work on yourself. You get up in the morning and consciously say to yourself, today's a new day. Yesterday is the past. Today is a new day. I start afresh. Right, whatever happened yesterday happened. Today is a new day, and I am looking forward to a wonderful new day. The old has passed. You understand? Because it's been nightfall, you slept, the old has passed. But because of the subconscious mind and the way we are actually engineered, we tend to remember the negative things from yesterday, or everything from yesterday. May it be negative or positive, right? But each day is a new beginning. Divine mind operates with divine mind. It means you take control of your mind. You take control of your mind, right? If something is something is removed, it's because it's something is getting coming better is coming in. If something is being removed, right, it simply means that something better is coming in, right? That's the divine order. When something is removed, when you lose something, you lose a job, you lose a girlfriend, you lose a marriage, something better is coming in. But because we soak into the loss so much, and we don't understand that our power is getting given away when you don't see the value of change. When something is ending, there's a new beginning. It's not always a, oh my God, my life is over. You see my point? Again, you're putting that negative perception back in your own mind. Thank you for joining my live. Thank you for joining my live. Anyway, today I'm talking about the word, right? And we're breaking down the book, or say the sequel book of the book called Your Word is Your Wand, right? Which is coming from The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. She's the author of the book, right? So she wrote another kind of sequel called Your Word is Your Wand, right? Because in the book she speaks about your word, the power of the word. When you speak into something, you actually manifesting something, right? So you're manifesting your life experience by all the words that you're saying to yourself and about yourself and to others as well. Because of the law of oneness, what you say to other people comes back to you, basically. You understand? So yeah. So the book speaks about prosperity. She talks about money, how we can level up our money, how we can make more money, how we can have a better relationship with money, all right? She speaks about love and relationships, how we can do better in love and relationships. As a life coach, a lot of people, most people have struggles in relationships. I'm constantly helping people with their relationships because they have a problem with being relating with others, even their loved ones, your partner and stuff like that, right? So she speaks about your money, about your relationships, how you can speak positivity into those relationships. She speaks about your health, how you can actually speak into your health in a positive way by, instead of you creating sicknesses with your words in your body, you understand? Because you can create sicknesses with your words, basically by you focusing on being sick. Like now, it's in my country, in South Africa, it's winter time. Every winter, before the winter starts, you see people advertising, you must go for your flu immune injections and stuff like that, right? When you feed into that nonsense, you're preparing yourself to get sick anyway, because you are saying, okay, yes, I'm preparing myself. You understand? Because even what in the book, Florence mentioned a woman that was asked, how's your son? Is your son doing okay? She says, oh no, he's fine. He's not sick yet. You understand? That means she's expecting that sickness. Now that's what I'm talking about. When you want to go for a flu immune injection, what you're telling your body, yes, we're gonna get sick, so we need to do this. You understand? You're really telling yourself and your mind and your body, because your mind and your body, right? They work together. Your subconscious mind is in your body. So all your memories kept in your body. So if you keep on telling yourself certain things, it becomes your reality, because that's what you will be creating. Okay. So she speaks about the health, okay? Then faith and intuition. Faith and intuition, she speaks about your faith and your intuition, how you can grow your faith with your words that you actually saying to yourself and to others, because your words are your wands, your words are your spells, in other words, right? And then she also talks about how you can protect yourself by your words as well. Okay, so it's quite an in-depth book. And then she also speaks about forgiveness and karma. Okay, very important for us to forgive each other, right? And then, well, the book is quite an interesting book, because it speaks about words create your reality, yes. What we speak repeatedly becomes our reality and our experience. Then how to use affirmations consciously, you understand? Speaking in alignment with love, truth, and the divine law. The divine law is based on the law of oneness, right? What I do unto others, I do unto myself, okay? Divine law. And if you look at the other 12 or 18 laws, the spiritual laws, it also falls in line with the law of oneness and all the other laws, right? Like law of karma. A law of karma speaks a lot about what you put out, what you get back, right? And what you put out on other people, you get back, because what you're putting out to other people, you actually putting on yourself, because of the law of oneness. So all these laws are kind of related to each other, that they make sense when you understand them in totality and how they actually relate to each other, right? So then the book is basically speaking about us not being beggars in the universe. When you pray and use your word for prayer or affirmation, it's not about begging, it's about declaring, okay? So you declare and receive with confidence. You declare and receive with confidence. You don't beg, right? And you don't even ask, you're declaring. You are declaring because you have the power to do so, right? Since the power of word is yours, right? So you have the power to declare those words over your life, and things will happen accordingly, right? But remember, this is a frequency. So people will say, okay, if I declare now, will it happen? Because you just declared once. So if you've been spending all your life begging, crying, and complaining, and the next minute you're declaring on one day or whatever, and you think it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Like, the reason why it's not going to happen, because your frequency is not aligned. You now recently changing your frequency, and it takes some time, because you've built your current frequency through years of practice and same habits of doing the same things, the repetition. So now you have a core frequency, and now you're trying to make a change by making one affirmations in the morning, and the rest of the day you back to your old self. Your frequency can never change. So a repetition, habits, it's called hypnotic rhythm. That's what Napoleon Hill calls it. Yeah, hypnotic rhythm, right? When you say something over and over and over again or do something with repetition for a long period of time, and it becomes who you are. It becomes your worldview, becomes your core vibration. Then you see the change. Now, people think that affirmations, okay, well, I'm going to affirm for a month every morning. I'm going to affirm this wonderful affirmation every morning, okay? But when I'm busy affirming it, am I affirming it with faith and belief? Do I believe my affirmations, right? I affirm the same thing in the morning, and then I go on my day, I go to work, I go to school, I go to college, wherever, I go to my business place, and then I'm expecting a change, but yet I'm only making one little change in the morning. I'm not changing my whole world view, outcome, how I see the world, my world view, how I see the world. The change can only come through when your frequency is totally aligned to that thing that you want to become. Okay. So one affirmation in the morning from Monday till Friday or Monday till Sunday, and then the rest of the day you're back to your normal low frequency self thoughts and belief systems. You cannot make the change. Unfortunately, you cannot make the change because now what are you doing? You're only feeding the new frequency ones, and the rest of the day you back to your old way of thinking, your old low frequency thinking and doing, right? So you can never make the change. That's why they say that you need to do it, but do it in such a way that it affects all areas of your life. It affects your morning routine, yes. It affects your trip to the office. It affects your work time and you're sitting and working. When you have somebody, your colleague, giving you a task and you don't want to do the task, and you say negative things, you're working against the morning routine. When your manager gives you work to do and you start complaining, right? When you're having lunch with your friends and you're talking how scarce money is, how you are so-called struggling with money, you are now talking against your morning routine. So now how are you going to make a change that's long lasting and evidence in your life if you're not keeping up? You got to make the change right through in all areas of your life for it to change, right? So morning affirmations and saying good things and positive things about yourself in the world in the morning is not enough. It's not enough if you're still going to be practicing those bad habits of complaining about money, that the month is too long and the money is too little. And yet, in the morning, you're saying that I believe in abundance. I'm an abundant person. I have plentiful. I live in abundance. I attract money into my life easily. But then you go to the office and you're speaking about you join the pity party with other people complaining about money. But in the morning we're talking about how you are such an abundant person. But when you get to the office, you're acting like a person that's not abundant. You understand? So yeah, you have to understand how it works, balance it out. Make sure that your habits and your belief systems are all in line. And then the repetition every single day, the same frequency every single day. When somebody comes and tests you and says something negative, and then you agree with them and you continue the pity party and all those things about money and about life and everything, right? Complaining about your job and all those things, but in the morning you were saying, yes, I love my job. I'm learning to love and appreciate my job. I love the fact that I can add value into my work every day. I love working with different people. I love the fact that I'm learning different things that can add value to my skills. I love being assistance and adding value in my workspace. You start like that in the morning, and then you get to the office and you start complaining about so much work and you're not paid enough and all those things. Now you're pushing against your own manifestation as you're trying to create. Okay. So once you have gotten that core frequency all right, you got all that in order, right? Then gradually you start seeing small changes in your reality, small changes in your reality. You'll find up in the mornings, you're getting up with more positiveness. You find that even in your workspace, you're more relaxed. You can actually appreciate your work. Even when you see people, you're more happy and joyful. You're more patient with people because now you're trying to connect with the divine mind, with God. You're trying to connect to divine mind. Divine mind only see things positively, doesn't see darkness, okay? Divine mind, right? We need to put ourselves in that frequency of divine mind for us to be positive. right? So every experience is there to teach us something. So when something negative happens to you in your life experience, what has this thing happened? I've been taught to me. What has it taught me about myself? Okay. Let me just trace my mind back, check myself back. How did I get in the situation? What did I do? What type of belief system did I have in my head about this situation that even attracted this type of thing? Why did I even put myself in this situation, right? What was my intentions? What is the learning purpose now? What is the learnings I can take from this experience? You understand? Yes. Because life is about the experience, basically. I always say that life is about the experience. There's nothing else we came here for the enjoyment of the experience of life. And sometimes there'll be bad times, and sometimes there'll be good times as well. Okay. So the teachings, words are great reality. Affirmations are consciously said but subconsciously programming our mind. So you say the words consciously when you're affirming, but subconsciously you're feeding your mind, right? You're speaking life into your subconscious mind, okay? By changing those negative perceptions to more positive perceptions, okay? You don't beg the universe, right? You declare, all right? Align with the divine, as I said, divine mind. Seek not just what you want, but what's your divinity, what's divinely right for you, right? Seek what's not what you want, but also seek what's divinely right for you. What's going to add value to you and your path in this life experience, right? Right? So these are things we need to understand when it comes to the words we speak are very powerful, right? The words we speak are very powerful and they create things in our reality. These words that we're speaking are very powerful and creating things, situations, circumstances into our life experience. They bring resources as well, resources for us to use in our life to manifest what we want in our life experience, right? Then the other concept I want to speak about is the law of oneness. Yeah, I've got about 20 minutes left or so. Yeah. The law of oneness. The law of oneness is called the law of divine oneness. It's a foundation spiritual concept, right? So principle stating that everything in the universe is one and connected, right? And now this world that we live in now, the matrix is so far from that. The way things are now, people are too separated. It's about I, me, only me, what I want. People don't understand the connection that we have. So in the awakening of the mind and you becoming more aware, you understand that we're all connected on a spiritual level. We all connected on a spiritual level. Every thought, action, word, or belief affects everything else and everyone else because things are on a common source, divine mind. We all come from divine mind from God, right? So that's our commonality, right? So we are connected to each other. That's how we creating the collective mind, the collective consciousness, okay? So there's individual consciousness that we all have. We all have our own individual consciousness, right? And there's the collective consciousness, which is collective mind. You understand, right? So the core meaning of this says we all are one. There is no true separation except the illusion of separation between you, myself, and the universe and others, nature, the animals, the birds, everything else. It's all parts of God's source, divine mind. All right, what does this imply? This implies that unity of all is the only thing, the only reality in life is unity, right? Every living being has a different expression, right, coming from this divine mind or divine source, which is God, okay? Your thoughts and intentions ripple through the universe. Your thoughts and your intentions ripple through the universe, okay? In the collective consciousness, which is quite interesting when you try and picture it with your mind, collective consciousness, how will it look? How does it look like to you as an individual? What does collective mind really look like? You understand? So, interconnection of the thoughts and the energy, because thoughts are energy, right? So there's an interconnection between the thoughts and the energy, right? Your thoughts and intentions ripple outwards. Your thoughts and your intentions ripple outwards, affecting the collective consciousness. Right? As I am now, my thoughts are connected to the collective. Your thoughts, whoever's on this live, is connected to the collect, collective mind. Every single person. Imagine, they say it's about 7 to 8 billion people, right? All these people thinking different things, all right, doing different things, having different world views. However, we are connected to each other. You understand? We are like a hive. You can picture it as a big hive mind type of thing. Okay. Now that's why there's a big cry for you to own yourself, right? Don't be controlled by the hive mind. It's neither a bad or good thing. It's just that it is what it is because it's a collective mind, right? Like what we call the internet, you can call that. That's also kind of is it a micro spectrum of what's of the collective micro or macro mind, the macro mind. Sorry, you understand? Then passion and empathy. Passion and empathy. When you see others as divine, right? If you see yourself as divine, you see others as divine as well. Okay, so compassion and empathy, having a compassion and empathy, which we lack in because we still, most people living in the separation in their mind. They don't see what they're doing is affecting other people. They don't see that we all connected. So they do things on a selfish level, right? And they're thinking they're hurting a certain specific person, and yet you're actually affecting the whole pool of consciousness with your negative vibes and your negative ripples. You understand? Because of your negative perceptions and your world views, right? So compassion and empathy, interesting concepts. When you see others suffer or thrive, you are witnessing another version of yourself. When you see others suffer or thrive, you're witnessing another version of yourself. This law invites deeper love. Yes, it does. Forgiveness and understanding. Self-responsibility. Since we all one, right? We all connected, okay? Since we all one, your personal healing continues to the healing of the whole. So when I heal myself and my inner child and raise my frequency, it does affect the collective, okay? It does affect the collective. So we all now, say for example, out of the 8 billion people, 8 billion people in the world, maybe 5 billion become awoke. That first 5 billion affect the pool of consciousness of the whole the whole macro system of consciousness, right? Helping each one of us. That's why when one person raises their frequency, right, they should be able to help other people. Now we have platforms like the internet. Now we can actually help each other on the internet. But then again, you need to be open to it. You need to be open to it. You need to be open to be affected by the positive flow of love. If you're not open to the positive flow of love, right, then you're not able to actually accept it and understand it. You get what I'm trying to say? You're not able to accept. That's why we have a lot of people that are not able to accept positive things. If they see they troll people on the internet and say negative things to people because they are very far from their frequency, right? So I'm not sure why wouldn't you not just go onto another platform, another channel, and find a frequency that's more aligned to you. It's because somehow subconsciously you're seeking the light. You are seeking the light, right? Because of the fact that you keep on being attracted to people that have light frequency. Their message is more high frequency. But when you get there, you're trolling and you're insulting and you are doing all stupid things, and yet you have the right to just move away to another platform that's aligned to your frequency. Like recently I was told about tarot card reading that is demonic and all those things, right, by a Christian. So you a Christian, you watching my live, you're tuning into my frequency and trying to get in because you're trying to get more light and information, right? But when you get there, then you're criticizing. You get my point? And then you're saying that Jesus Christ is whatever. Now that's your own opinion. Those that we call trollers. Okay, let's try and respect each other's space. Let's try and respect each other's opinions as well. Okay, so people that are seeking the light, They normally are attracted to light information, but when they get there, they act stupid and silly by actions and by saying and expressing their dark perceptions about themselves and about life, and even, you know, I'm trying to say, because how can you don't know that person? How can you say certain things that are hurtful to somebody else you don't know? It's because you are hurting yourself. You are a hurting person, and now you are lashing out to the rest of the world because you're seeking the light. You're seeking the light, but you don't know you're seeking the light. On a subconscious level, it's happening. On a conscious level, you think you're fine, but you're seeking the right information. That's why you keep on going to that high frequency information, and yet you don't even believe in those things. You understand? Yeah. So the whole idea is that how do we work with oneness? Okay, how do we work with the oneness? How do we connect? There's certain things we can do, right? Number one, mindfulness, right? Knowing yourself. Observe your thoughts. That's knowing yourself. Meditation, very important. Observe your thoughts and emotions as an energy that influences the collective, right? So your thoughts and your emotions is an energy that influences the collective mind, the collective consciousness, the macro part of consciousness, the big totality of consciousness, right? Um, love, self-love and kindness, very important as well. Forgiving yourself and beginning to accept yourself for who you are. You understand that you are divine in the eyes of divine mind and divine source. You are divine, right? So send love, blessings, or gratitude to others. If you cannot do that, you can start doing it. You can learn to appreciate a simple thing like gratitude. Just being grateful every single day for the small things in your life can also grow that love, you know, that happiness, that joy, just by having a practice of gratitude every single day. Then you're able to send love, blessings, gratitude to others as well. Okay, very important. And then basically meditation, as I said, very important. Still your mind. Think, not think, but like manage your thoughts. Sometimes your thoughts are the ones that causing problem because you're always thinking about negative things. Calm down, calm your mind, use meditation, connect with your higher self, connect with your higher self or the universal energy to feel the oneness within yourself, right? So when you meditate at least for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes a day can help you slow down your mind, and you get into the frequency where you can actually get to a nice high vibration of calmness, okay? And then my favorite affirmations. You can use affirmations like I am with all, part of the with of the all. I am part of the whole. I am part of divine consciousness. I am part of the divine consciousness of wellness and abundance, okay? Things like that you can say, but you make up your own affirmations, or you can find them online. I mean, there's so many different affirmations that can help you. A lot of channels that actually are sharing different types of positive affirmations, right? And then taking compassionate action, right? Helping others, helping even yourself. Sleep more, rest, stopping so critical on yourself. You understand? Helping others, not out of obligation though, right? You're helping others because you can feel their pain, you can feel empathy for them. Now some of us are so far from their frequency of empathy. We are so far, but you have to gradually work on yourself to get to that point where you can actually feel somebody else's pain and feel not sorry, but feel empathy for them, right? Help others not out of obligation, as I said, because they are a reflection of you. We're not that far from each other. We all need the same things. We need love and acceptance. We need people to take care of us. You understand? These are the things we need to understand as well. Then the law of manifestation, right? Now the law of manifestation is linked to the words we're using, the things we're saying, and the things that we're believing, right? Our practices, your manifestations, and what you're creating in your life experience is linked to you, your worldview, right? Your worldview. That's what it's linked to. So it's all about you realizing that you are being taken care of. When you're feeling in lack, you shall manifest lack. Okay. When you're feeling in lack, you shall manifest lack. When you understand you are connected to source, divine mind, you stop chasing and start aligning yourself, because you're connected to divine mind already. You'll always be provided for, right? Divine source has your back. When you have that realization that divine source has your back, everything becomes easy in your life. Life is not a struggle, right? Life is a game. So play it well, right? Play the game of life very well by understanding how it works. That's what it's all about. Understanding how it works, okay? You will realize you already have everything that you're seeking. All you have to do is align yourself to it. Once you've thought about something, it's somewhere in the astral realm, it's in the spiritual realm. It's waiting for you to match yourself to it. That's what it simply means, right? So don't rush. Take your time, because when it comes to manifesting, you have to relax. You have to be in ease with life, right? And then good things come, because if you keep on chasing and feeling stressed, then it actually takes your frequency offline. That makes your frequency not a match to that thing that you want, right? That's what it's all about. And then spiritual insights on this whole thing, right? Separatism is an illusion of the mind, right? Of the ego. It's linked to the ego. Unity is the truth of the soul, right? How does the law of oneness link to karma, right? Law of oneness and karma. Very interesting concept, right? So remember, the karma is all about the cause and effect. Karma is the law of cause and effect. Karma is the law of cause and effect, and there's good karma and it's also not so good karma. There's negative karma and there's some positive karma that we all manifesting in our realities, right? Okay, so that's also very important to know. Every action and thought and deed creates an energetic imprint. Excuse me, let me say that again. Every action, every thought, and every deed creates an energetic imprint that returns to you, the source. Every action, every thought, every deed creates an imprint, energetic imprint that returns to the source. So if I'm the source of this wonderful energy that I'm bringing out, I bring forth to myself as a karmic experience the same. You understand? If I am that which expresses negativity and darkness to other people, right? I bring forth the same expression back into myself. That's how it works. You understand? You cannot run away from it. Even if you don't believe in the law of karma, you cannot run away from it, because it is a law of the universe. It's like you saying there is no nature, or there is no stars, or there is no moon. I don't believe in the moon. Just because you don't believe in the moon doesn't mean there's no moon. Basically, that's what they're trying to say here. It is what it is, right? So these are the laws that govern us. These are the things that govern us as human beings. That oneness thing is a big thing. However, we're not abiding to oneness. That's why we have so much wars and pain and frustration and low frequency things happening in this reality. And we feel like victims, yet we are actually collectively contributing to all the negative things becoming such a big frequency in this reality. You understand? The rapes, the murders, the gaslighting, the narcissistic behaviors that are happening, because we are pushing and we're using justification of spiritual, not spirituality, but religion. We're justifying out these things by using our religions. You understand? Because it's all about separatism, separating people and putting them in blocks. You belong to that religion, then I belong to that religion. You are that color, racism and colorism on top of it. All these things have caused the frequency that we are in now, in this collective pool of consciousness, this negative vibe that we're having at the moment, where people now there's wars coming through. There's talks about third world war and things like that, because of the way the frequency is going. Countries are saying you can come to my country, we're overtaxing you, we're taxing you, and all those, abusing other people economically is another issue that's causing problems, right? But the change is always individual. The change is individual. You cannot change the macro without first changing the micro. So you as an individual have to change. you as individual have to uplift your frequency and make that change so you can become a better person in totality, right? That's what it's all about. I hope today's topic was interesting, right? If you are interested, you can go ahead and learn about the book. Your word is a wand by Florence Scovel Shinn, right? It's online. You can get the audio. You can even buy the book if you want to, right? Or you can also get a PDF to download and read it. Or if you want to listen to it, all is always better, right? The Game of Life and How to Play by Florence Scovel Shinn. Okay, so these things are very important for our personal growth as human beings to get the information that we need so that we can also expand ourselves and expand our consciousness. Okay, so if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can also get to see my videos when I'm posting more videos. I normally have a live during weekends, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and normally I start like 11 o'clock or so. So if you are interested in my next live tomorrow, right, then go ahead and please subscribe so that you can also get the notification. Okay. Don't forget to also go through my videos and check out my videos as well, and also comment and share. All right. So have a great Saturday further, and we'll check you tomorrow. All right. I hope you found this insightful.